This week, Team Wildmount delves into the Savalier Wood in search of Molaesmyr and finds more than they bargained for.
Ew! What?
We pick up with the party riding their goats to the Savalier Wood, and it is a 3-day journey, so they roll for each day to see if anything interesting happens. On the first day, it is a pleasant and uneventful journey. On the second day, the snow starts to fall a bit thicker, and on the third day, there is a blizzard, which causes them to lose a day of travel, and they all have to roll a Constitution saving throw, and Imogen...
I rolled a 1, and I'm gonna
You don't have to explain it.
I'm gonna say because my new outfit I kind of designed with no pants, so I think I'm cold.
You don't have any pants?
I got shorts. I still got shorts. They're cute little shorts under a very sheer dress.
And speaking of new outfits, we did get all new character art. I am absolutely obsessed with all of these outfits, although I do have questions about what happens to Chetney's hoodie every time he transforms. I was planning on cosplaying as Imogen in her original outfit at PAX Australia later this year, but these new outfits have got me changing my plans. Chetney also rolls poorly, so both he and Imogen take 2 points of exhaustion, with the rest of them all coping with the cold okay. While they are traveling, they notice the still shifting and growing energy of the ley lines in the sky, still fixed in place as the solstice is still underway. I think whatever time distortion Ludinus used at the Malleus Quayside is still underway, keeping the solstice going over Marquette while the rest of the world carries on. On the 4th day of travel, Laura rolls to see what happens.
I rolled another 1.
You did? You should just leave now!
And the group is attacked by frost giants, throwing rocks at them, knocking FCG off of their goat. Imogen uses telekinesis to catch one of the rocks and throws it back at the giant, slamming it into their face. The party runs away on their goats, slipping and sliding down the mountainside with the giants on hot pursuit. Imogen uses her telekinesis again to stop one of the giants and toss it aside. It was like extremely badass. FCG casts calm emotions on one of them, but they are not technically humanoid, so it doesn't work, but with some ranged attacks they manage to fend them off until the giants give up the chase. They arrive at the edge of the Savalier Wood and contemplate how best to approach Molaesmyr. Sam comes up with a pretty wild idea.
So we should lash the goats together and make a goat boat.
Stop.
Don't you think? I mean, like, that's a natural...
I'm just gonna pat you on the shoulder.
Also, Fern casts Speak Animals and asks one of the goats.
Hey, Donnie boy.
Yeah.
We were thinking of possibly like making a goat boat.
Okay.
So
Absolutely not.
I think like what that would entail is either tying you all together or you each like bite the tail of the goat in front of you.
Like a goat centipede?
Yeah, just like
okay.
that.
Yeah,
Just like
okay.
that. And then we just float down the river. I don't know if that's something you guys would be in. Can you swim?
I fell into the water once and I was able to get out okay, yeah. I haven't done it as like a group of them, but like we can do that.
We can do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we can do it. I think we can do the goat boat. If you're down, the water might be cold, but you've got all the fluff, so...
I mean, yeah, as long as we don't get wet, I think we'll be all right.
Bells hells, do not put these adorable goats in the freezing river. Instead, they lash together some logs to make a raft, and they find a cove to anchor the raft in and settle down for a long rest. FRIDA asks Deanna to cast her Death Ward on FCG instead of themselves because they think that the group needs to prioritize the healers, so Deanna heads over to FCG.
What are your intentions with my friend?
What do you mean? What do you mean intentions?
You guys have gotten very close, and it's very nice, but if you are just dallying about because you just zoom in and break hearts, I'll break your neck.
You think that I could be a heartbreaker?
I think if you wanted to, you could.
Wow, that's the nicest thing I've heard.
You're being so nice.
Oh man, imagine me as a heartbreaker, just leaving a trail of sad romances behind me.
I love this because that is exactly what Sam's character Scanlan did in Campaign 1. FCG explains that FRIDA makes them feel special, and he just wants FRIDA to be happy. FCG asks if Deanna has any interest in getting back at Chetney, and she says no, saying she thinks that there's something between Chetney and Fern. FCG says that that's probably not happening, and that Chetney looks at Deanna with admiration. Okay, place your bets now. Are we going to see a romantic reconciliation between Chetney and Deanna by the time this Team Wildmount arc wraps up? Let me know in the comments. Deanna considers casting Greater Restoration on Imogen, but decides not to since it uses 100 gold worth of diamond dust.
Yeah, save it for Revivify.
Seriously, though.
And on that note, I kind of glossed over this development last week in my haste to get the video out, but the fact that revivify magic doesn't work at the moment is pretty concerning. But I think it is also in keeping with the kind of game Matt likes to run. He's spoken before about how he doesn't like how easy revivification is in D&D, which is why he came up with the Fading Spirits ritual, where there is a chance that it won't work. There's been a lot of speculation that what is happening with magic right now is the setup for a new magic system to use in Campaign 4, and these rumor flames have been further fanned that was extremely wordy, by the announcement of Critical Role's game system Daggerheart, which I made a video about. Will Revivify work again in Campaign 3? I think only time will tell. While they are resting, FCG for the first time cast the spell Commune, which allows you to ask 3 yes or no questions of a deity or a divine proxy, and they attempt to reach the Changebringer. Their first question is, are you real?
The wind begins to pick up around you, kind of whipping past you in the direction of the flow of the river. You can just feel like leaves and bits of dust and snow kind of like whip past you. And you swear you can see like almost like tendrils of hair whipping past you. As you notice this, the color of the vicinity around you begins to shift, like an odd change of color. And you turn around, and it's odd. You glance and can see the horizon line beyond the mountains to the east, and you can see a figure standing an impossible number of miles away, yet somehow their hair is traveling this far and is just drifting around you, whipping with the wind as it does. Present, but distant.
Oh, wow. Hi. I guess that's a yes. Have you been watching me?
In response, the wind tears the coin from FCG's chest and it lands heads up in the snow. And the third question FCG asks is, do you need any help?
They acknowledge and confirm with cold emotion what you can interpret to be a yes. But as you do, she also pulls away. Make a perception check for me.
Good. 16.
As the figure begins to pull away, you watch as the tendrils of hair begin to drift back, and the figure seems to kind of lift and vanish beyond, almost like a fog beyond where they were standing. And once again, the perspective is so odd on this to where it seems close, but yet also infinitesimally distant. Like a sunrise that you can't tell if it's 10 feet away or the other side of the world. And for a second, you see within that fog other shapes, like it's joining others before the color begins to drift from that ethereal glow back to that setting sun.
This is incredible. I was honestly very doubtful that FCG was ever going to make a true connection to the Changebringer, and I'm so happy to have been wrong. I think the vision of the Changebringer joining other figures could show that the gods are currently meeting up and probably formulating plans for dealing with the threat of Predathos. You know, one big celestial Zoom call. After a long rest, they realize that their raft plan did not account for fitting the goats on there, so to make room, Deanna kills her goat Jerry and starts butchering him.
I'm cheering Jerry. I'm taking mute. Just two insane no's.
Imogen is just sobbing and screaming. What the fuck?
This can't be the worst thing you've seen. Your dreams are bad.
Where's the hole? We got a whole rack here.
Wait, did you also kill a goat?
I was harvesting all the pieces.
But there's just one goat down, right?
Yeah. What are you gonna just carry a bunch of meat with you now?
Throw it in the hole. It's freezing out
We
here.
don't have a hole.
This moment was like truly unhinged. This is why you don't name your mounts, okay? Imogen and maybe Laura as well is really not doing okay after this and does not trust Deanna anymore. After that incident, they decide to leave the rest of the goats here and hopefully pick them up on the way back to Utherdurn. Yeah, we ain't never seeing those goats again, are we? A Aboard the raft, they float down the river into the Savalier Wood, flowing under the leaves of the dark purple and grey twisted trees. Chetney has some experience here in the woods and advises them all to be careful and to stay together, and while talking about his experiences, FRIDA comes to the realization that a bite from Chetney could cause them to transform into a werewolf. They don't notice any changes yet, but FRIDA does feel nervous, but also kind of excited. They travel through the day, and as night falls, the wood begins to come to life with creepy noises, the sound of large things crashing, and drifting blue lights, which turn out to be a lot of pixies or fairies flitting about in the forest. They also encounter a huge creature covered in moss with an eye stalk and pseudopod limbs.
A giant splash into the water ahead of you as it leapt into the air and lands right in the center of the river that is now picking up and is now pushing your entire raft in the direction of this entity as it spins around. 4 or 5 of these tendrils spinning in the air like multiple eye stalks pushing through as a massive mouth opens before you.
This creature seems to be a... Wait. Kitties, are you fighting again? Can you not right now? Clementine! Marigold! How did you find my favorite dice from Only Crits? I've been working with Only Crits for quite a while now, and I absolutely love their dice, and it looks like my new kittens feel very much the same. Maybe they were attracted to the gorgeous color of the Honey Citrine set. Or maybe it was the sparkle of the Starlight Nebula set that caught their attention. Or maybe they just know that Only Crits has some of the most beautiful dice in an array of colors and styles, and they could be excited about the free D&D adventure that you get with every purchase. Hey, that's enough now. I don't want them to go under the couch. I gotta get back to the video. Oh, come here, kitties. Okay, whoop. Oh, and don't forget to use the code LUNA at checkout to get 12% off your order. Bye. You two, you're supposed to roll initiative first. Okay, back to the fight in the Savalier Wood. In round 1, Chetney is up first and he activates his Rite of the Flame, holding his action, and then the Bog Wretch is up next, attacking Fern with its tentacles and grappling her. It then lashes its tongue out at FRIDA.
Why not? I will elect to fail.
Okay. So you reach over and grab it and pull it free and then succumb to it and get pulled forward right into the water. Spoof, your legs are now dangling, the water splashing past your legs as it's now kind of like brought you to the front of it and it's starting to withdraw you towards its mouth.
FRIDA, no!
Nobody tongues FRIDA except for me.
Fern casts Scorching Ray into its mouth and bamps out Mister. The pixies turn on Imogen.
You finish blasting this forward, see this pixie out of the corner of your eye, and kind of turn to try and focus your will, but you only barely catch it in a split second. The darkness around you and the thrashing of the...
Is this being charmed? Am I being charmed?
No.
You gotta ask.
But good looking out. As you are polymorphed into a fox.
Oh!
So cute! Wait, what noise a fox make? Another pixie tries to confuse Fern, but she resists, and Deanna uses control water to send a wave into the pixies, breaking their concentration and turning Imogen back to herself. Deanna then casts Spiritual Weapon, creating a giant mace of the Dawnfather and hits the Bog Wretch. FCG is up next and fires their grappling cannon at the creature, pulling him closer, and he also casts Spiritual Weapon into a larger mace of the Changebringer.
Interesting. Okay.
My
It's not a
God, it's better
competition.
than it is a competition.
FCG casts a Shield of Health on FRIDA, who is planning to be swallowed by the wretch, and gives them a kiss. Chetney hits with his held action and then his action at the top of the round, landing in that 20 and jumps to the riverbank. The wretch swallows FRIDA and hits Deanna and Imogen with its tentacles. It dives under the water, taking FRIDA and FCG with it. Fern casts Entangle though, pulling it up onto the shore, and Imogen casts Inflict Wounds again. Then FRIDA fires on it from inside its stomach, causing it to spit them out. The pixies sling a few more spells, but they're all resisted, and Deanna casts Mass Cure Wounds on everyone, and both she and FCG wail on it with their spiritual weapons. In round 3, Chetney, using Esteros' Scythe Turmoil, casts Shatter between a tree and the creature, and gets the how do you want to do this?
How do you want to do this?
I'll just look at him and go, timber, motherfucker.
They continue to travel through the wood as fog rolls in, reducing their visibility. Imogen sends her lights into the water to give them some light but not draw too much attention to themselves. Fern casts Speak with Animals and ducks her head into the freezing water to try and find a fish to talk to. She finds a fat, eyeless fish.
Avoid the Wolf King.
The Wolf King?
Yes.
Why does the fish know about the
Let me
wolf?
write it down.
Yeah, write that shit down.
Wolf
What?
King.
Who's that?
She can hold her breath.
It's the Wolf King.
Okay. He's just the Wolf King?
I haven't seen him. I just was told to keep away.
You just hear about him from under here?
Other fish.
Yeah.
Before I eat him,
Oh. Where does he live? Just around?
I guess.
Okay.
That's great.
What does he eat?
This fish knows.
What does he eat?
Probably fish.
Man, Speak with Animals is such a good spell. I love it so much. While they are resting on the raft, Deanna asks FRIDA if they want to be a werewolf, and they respond that they don't not want to be, since Chetney seems to be having a lot of fun, and basically, you know, they're just taking things day by day. Oh, and about FRIDA, a lot of you had some great theories about the child in FRIDA's dream, so let's take a brief theory time. Firstly, this person says that maybe the child FRIDA was charged with protecting died, and then their soul was bound to FRIDA as a way of preserving the soul or remembering it. And I like this one that says, what FRIDA sees when they sleep is a way of tracking targets. The dream shows a map of Exandria so they know where to go to complete their next mission. Very video game, I love that. This one says that maybe FRIDA is programmed to know that their task ends when they hear the laughter of their charge, signaling that the person is safe, and that is why they are so focused on recording laughter. Or, I really like this one because it would make for some juicy drama. Maybe the child that FRIDA was tasked to protect was Ludinus. The next day, they travel without incident, but on the last day of their trip, they come across geysers in the river that exude a disgusting miasma that smells of heavy iron and rotting fish. It is said that this miasma is the original cause of the corruption by the sort of folk who surround the Savalier Wood. They all have to roll con saves, and Fern and Deanna fail.
You catch yourself, and as it kind of pulls through your body, and I mean through, you feel like the inside of your rib cage. You feel the organs of your torso just go ice for a moment as it pulls through. You both take points of exhaustion, so a point each, and your hit points, the maximum hit points are reduced by 5.
Continuing on, FRIDA spots a tower through the woods and the party investigates. And once they arrive, they see that it is around 10 stories tall and that there are other towers nearby and bits of walls and roads, ruins of the city long past, jutting out at odd angles. The party were told to look for the Guild Hollow Tower on the northwest side of the city, so they begin to sneak through with Pass Without Trace. Imogen decides to summon one of the red figures that she summoned before on the skyship so that it can go ahead of them and sort of act as a scout.
This little bead of red light appears like a tiny little orb of red that just kind of glows and drifts there in space before it suddenly opens up into a circular gateway, and then as it closes immediately, you see a humanoid figure drifting there, kind of partially ephemeral, partially physical, like of red energy. It looks humanoid. Its legs kind of drifting into a mist towards where the knees go below. Long arms, long fingers that lead into like claws. The body looks humanoid, though the shoulders themselves are kind of broader and kind of almost come to a point. The neck is long, and where the head is, it's almost stretched and along to the back. You do not see any features. There's just this kind of this pale glow where the eyes would be, and it just kind of appears and drifts there.
That is so creepy! I really wondered what would happen if Imogen tried to communicate with this being, like, you know, actually have a conversation with it, because we know from Khadija Sumal's study in the Omen archive that the beings from Ruidus, the Rylora, did communicate with the exaltants who dreamed of them. Imogen commands the Crimson Shade to let out a screech, drawing out a twisted elk-like creature.
It is a massive elk-like beast, probably standing from like ground to shoulders, about 10 feet tall. Damn. It's knotted horns standing outward, and as it kind of like gives out its war cry at the destruction of this entity that it struck, it like shifts and turns, and you see it is featureless. Its face is smooth, aside from its like protracted snout. You also now notice that it has about,
Umidara, yeah.
what you guess, 8, 9, 10 elk legs.
That's
that kind of like,
Oh, it's like a
black
spider
below it,
elk?
almost like a spider elk, as it curls forward, and the 2 other thick limbs that drag behind it.
What do you mean?
Wait, what do you mean drag behind?
Like two large limbs that kind of protrude from the start of its shoulders that kind of just drag on the ground behind it as the other four climb.
Dara does not roll like this. They are not rolling.
What?
You see kind of like,
Ew! Has Matt been playing Elden Ring lately or something? It slams into the shade, immediately destroying it, And it sort of lets out these sounds, seemingly responding to noise or like searching for things with noise. It kind of reminds me of like the clickers from The Last of Us. FCG casts telepathic bond on the group so that they can silently communicate, and they carefully make their way through the city ruins, which is very creepy with old desiccated cocoons, egg sacs hanging up, and out of the corner of their eyes they see someone walking, but when they look, there is no one there. Ooh. Not only that, but there are bones and bodies amongst the vegetation, the remains of families who tried to flee. And with that comforting thought, that is where the episode ends. Ah! I am so excited to learn more about Molaesmyr. It has seemed like such a mysterious location ever since we first heard about it. Hopefully the party will learn something useful for their quest to stop lewdness, and we don't have to worry about the lack of I can never say that word. The lack of revivification. What do you think they're gonna find in the city? Let me know in the comments. It looks like we're gonna be with Team Wildmount for a bit longer yet, especially since there is no Critical Role next week. But hey, if you're at a loose end on Thursday and you're looking for something to do, I'm running a special Chat Plays D&D game over on Twitch set in the time of the calamity, all to raise money for research and treatment of pancreatic cancer. The game will be on this Thursday at 4:30 p.m. till 7 p.m. Pacific, so come and play some D&D with me for a great cause. And in the meantime, check out this video where I talk about Critical Role quitting D&D. Bye!
Are you gonna love him and leave him? Are you gonna bet him and dead him? Are you gonna...
One more?
Are you gonna fuck him and chuck him?